Hello and welcome to this week's Scriptcase video. My name is Jamie and I am your host today. Today we will be looking at how we can convert or essentially even create our own mobile APK version of a platform. And we can do this with pretty much any platform. And if you have seen previously the PWA application, this is pretty similar, but it is using online resources. And yes, those resources do come at a cost. So I will mention that straight away at the beginning of this video, that whatever you will have to do within this video will pretty much cost you money. Now, if you want the free version, the PWA is the way to go. So check that out. That was a video we had created last year, and there within that you will be able to also create something similar to what we are creating today. So the end result is basically converting our web platform or website or whatever it is that we are hosting online, because that is an important factor. Our platform needs to be online. It needs to have a HTTPS certificate or an SSL certificate, should I say. And, well, it needs to be secure, in other words. Now, with that, you ideally have a login page that you can then log in and then use the platform or portal. Or, as I said, you could also have that for a very basic website. So let's log into Scriptcase today and let's have a quick look at what we've got basically. Now, I've put a very basic platform together so far, nothing special whatsoever. Okay, and what I'm going to do is make a few adjustments to that. Now I have here the mobile APK. Now this one here is the original one, and this is the live version that is currently hosted and using an SSL certificate, actually under the same domain and everything. But as some of you know that were within the live webinar on Friday, I was having some problems with the database, and not wanting to jinx that today, I will leave that as it is. And on top of that, because I do not have access to either of the platforms that we will be using today, I will be basically giving a voice over the previous developer who actually went through that and had created those accounts to create the original video. So in this one, I'm going to run through the basics and the basic steps that you need to take, and really the most important factors. Now, I'm logged in here to a platform, and basically I have here an APK folder, and if I zoom in here, you can for sure see that a little better then. And here I have an APK folder, and it's just a folder for my personal organization. Nothing more, okay? So take no attention to APK. It doesn't matter. I could call it KPA or PAK or whatever I want to call it. It doesn't matter. It is only for my own personal organization within the Scriptcase environment. It doesn't mean nothing, okay? So for that, within this folder, or within an admin folder, or all of your folders, or whatever it is, because your application is basically running here off the login page, okay? And this is in root, okay? So just to point that one out, this is my root file. This is the first application that runs, is here, the app login. So these folders purely for organization within the development environment. Okay, so in here I have the primary applications that I will be using for my mobile app, for instance. And if I go ahead and run these, I'll have to go here to my root and log in here with the login page. And if I log into this, you'll see I have a very basic login page, and it's maybe not the best login page to have for mobile access. So we will go and change that in a moment, and I will also go log in. And then once I'm logged in, I have then here a basic security folder. So it's just the basic layouts, there's nothing complicated, nothing spectacular here. So I have started this previously, as you see, and I'm just going to continue finishing it off a little bit, adding the other applications which I had listed there. So I will list here the chart orders, dashboard, form products, and grid products, and import those, and then just move them up here to the top and then save that. Okay, so just like that, I've added now these extra items within my menu. And of course I have security enabled, so I could just quickly disable that and then I can view that. So now I don't have those options there yet because, again, I have security enabled. Okay, so that is very important to note. And the menu system sees that. And that is why I do not have these other applications available, because it doesn't matter if I have security enabled on the one application or not. In this case, I'm always better off running here from the login page. But now I have here the app menu. It says it's outdated. So what I would just quickly do is just generate the source code very quickly for all of the applications that have any adjustments, and then run here the login page again. Okay, so now logging in, I can now see the new items or applications that I have added into my menu system. Okay, so for a mobile layout, it is quite important, of course, we need to consider the fact that, well, there is not as much space as what we have here on the desktop to view all of the information. And that is why also the login page is not very ideal. The menu, maybe we can make some adjustments there, so it's a bit easier to manage on a mobile device, as well as then some other adjustments. So first of all, for the login page, having the login page that we have here, so if I run that, we can see that then quickly again. We have this really large box here in the center, and well, that's maybe not so ideal. So let's have a look here at what other options we have. And there we have one option there, and login one. Let's preview that one also. So maybe this one, so I'll leave this one. There we go, if we run, but this one may be a little easier to use on a mobile device. Why? Because we have larger fields to use, as well as a very easy container to work with that will be centered pretty much on the mobile device and so forth. So it is important that we make those considerations when we develop our platform within Scriptcase. So that is one change I would make there already. Here for the menu, for instance, and if I come here to the settings, I can make various adjustments here to the menu width, for instance. Maybe make it a little smaller, maybe add a scroll bar, maybe even the option to hide the menu. And those adjustments will already make a big difference for the mobile application. Okay, so I just run the application, and yes, I have security enabled, so it's not going to display. I need to then go again via the app login, and there we have our new login page. And now we have also the hide option here for our menu, which again will make a difference within the mobile application. And it's not as wide as it was now. Now here with the dashboard, I would also make various adjustments here to the dashboard, for instance. Again, it doesn't have to be so wide. Maybe we could actually remove here the grid products, just leave the chart there, and maybe just about halfway would do. And of course we can add a few index widgets here. So if I then choose the connection, and then let's just choose here, for instance, our orders table, and our metric field would then say be here our price order, I guess, and the period field would then be the, say, required date. Let's go with those, and let's go with sum and month, and save that. And then just like that, we have a widget there. And of course I could run that now. Security is going to say no, and again need to come back here to the login page and actually run that. But let's see if we have here the run, and then we can of course assign our run button to our login page and save that. And that way, every time we then click on the run button, it then runs now our admin, our login page, like so. And just like that, we've added something different in here, made the chart a little smaller. Just little adjustments like that will make a big difference within the mobile view. Okay, so other than that, other than the simple choices that we make for the mobile application, okay, because in most cases you may want to create a mobile application only and place it online and give it access to mobile devices. That is possible, but of course it will also be available for desktops. But you can make changes there so that it is not. Okay, so within our app menu, I will come here to my events, and here's also on load. Now, one of the most important factors of any development these days is that it's all CSS. Everything here that we see is CSS. So if I right click on my application, my page, my portal, my platform, whatever it is you are viewing right now, I can then view here the styling that we have available. Okay, and we can make adjustments within the Scriptcase environment, but for mobile devices, you may want to make other adjustments here. And to do that, really, we may want to also change here the type of view that we have. And we can do that clicking here, the icon, and then change up here the dimensions and associate that to an actual phone, such as the iPhone Pro 12, for instance, or something along those lines. And then, of course, well, I went to refresh, and I shouldn't have refreshed. Okay, so like so, and then of course we can then access our device like it would be on a mobile device, and we can see then how it functions. Now in this case it may not be great, and of course we need to then of course make other adjustments here. So let's change that to Pixel 5, the fold, and we have then the various dimensions and what it would look like on each of these phones. And of course, knowing that, you would want to make adjustments here to the CSS styling. Now for that, we've already prepared some styling. So let me paste that in here and place that there. And let's have a look at what that then looks like. So if I then go ahead and generate that source code, and it's just little adjustments here and there, nudging something to the left, to the right, and so forth. I'm just going to adjust this quickly as well and add an extra index in here as well. So this time let's choose here the employees maybe, and we can then choose the country, let's say, and the period. Let's go with the birth date. And we can count, and for the month, let's save that. And just like that, we have an extra widget here. Not that it has really any purpose, but yeah, it just completes this page a little better. All right, so I'll generate that as well, and then again, go ahead and run my project. So I can go ahead and log in again now. And in fact, before I do that, let's come here to the inspect. And now we have our dimensions there. And now we see our page as it would be seen. Okay, so just now, as I had it just now, it didn't look so great. And that's because I did the inspect while I was already looking at that. Now, if I log in now, we should see something along those lines. And that is not from my CSS styling that I've just attached. That is simply because now I had started the view during the login process. Okay, so all of the applications then are then updated. So that's very important to note. And just like that, we have here already a much cleaner view. And just like that, we have a much cleaner view here by making slight adjustments here, understanding that, of course, the applications are much smaller and so forth. And we can then also make other adjustments and changes and check out how everything works and use all of the mobile functionality that comes within the Scriptcase applications. Now, of course, what we're using today, it doesn't matter whether you're using Scriptcase, you could be using anything, it doesn't really matter, but you know, in that case, you would be converting basically then to an APK, right? Because that's what we want to do. So those are the most important points for the mobile development. Okay, so if you follow those minor tips and keep in mind that you are, of course, developing for a smaller screen, you will find that the majority of your applications will come out very nice. I can't see why not. Okay, it just takes slight adjustments here and there and maybe a little bit of CSS code. And we can check that out really quickly here. So if we have made a slight adjustment to the menu, to the icons, to the table, to here the tree menu icons, as well as then the table and so forth. So only minor adjustments, maybe to the color here and some margin and width adjustments. So very small adjustments, nothing too serious. And just like that, you will have a much nicer looking platform within your Scriptcase environment, if of course this is something you wanted to do with Scriptcase. Because yes, how we are now going to go ahead and create those applications, well, that is another matter. But first of all, our online platform. So this is the online version of pretty much what I've put together here, maybe a little cleaner because of course they spent some more time on that previous to the video. And well, here, if I log in, we'll see pretty much the same thing. Okay, so I've got a token no valid. I need to refresh my page maybe. And let's try that again. Log in. Okay, so I can then log in. All right, and then just like that, again, I've lost my database connection. But so this is online already. So there you go, it's back again. A bit flaky, but yes, it doesn't matter. But this is basically the platform that we have available online, that we posted online, and have then packaged with the APK applications. Now, the first of those applications is CONVERTIFY, and we'll have a look at that in a few moments. Now, I will note, of course, that you do need to pay for this, and you have the pricing down here. And the website is convertify.app. And yes, you pay a once-off fee. They send you then the APK file, and we'll have a look at that in a few moments. And the other alternative to that is here, the Flutter Flow. Okay, and again, well, you can start for free, but you can't really do anything, okay, because you cannot export your APK. You cannot really add your details so that you're actually gonna, give it a trial run or anything. You will need to sign up straight away and again pay. So that is both of these, and we're gonna have a look at those as we continue on now within the video. Okay, so if we jump back to CONVERTIFY, we can actually go and check that out a little more and see what the price for this is, because now we can use CONVERTIFY to convert any type of platform. It supports both Android and Android iOS, which Flutter Flow, which we've seen just now, does not support iOS, only Android. So it will only create an APK. Here we can create an APK as well as the iOS application required. And you will also receive all of the files. So you receive your IPA file, your APK file, as well as your AAP file. And all of those then you can use for the upload and everything. And you receive all the documentation for that also. So for the Android, you see here $69. For the Android and iOS is $119. You do pay once. And of course, you pretty much have everything you need then so that you can actually start to, well, upload your application to the relevant store. Okay, so with that, we can then continue on and see, what else we can do here. All right, so you do need your application online, and we have then our application online, and with that, you then need to make sure it has the SSL certificate and everything. And once you're then ready, you just come back into CONVERTIFY as we're doing so here, add then the application name as well as then the URL for that. Okay, and you can add then a password or whatever it is there, and just click then the convert button. Now, just by doing that, you actually then receive an email from these guys. So let's just have a quick look at that. And then here we can then see that, well, they've just given us some information here. And we can then actually have a look at what other options we have here. So within the email, it tells us that we can check out the change of the icon as well as the splash screen. You can also change the various colors and features for updating the application. And of course, posting messages to your users within the app, your push-pull configuration and more. So you do have those options as you continue on within the environment, or sorry, within the website, where you are then converting the application. Now, you then receive your email, which then also provides you with the URLs for your APK as well as your AAB file. So this is only for Android, and how you actually publish your application to the relevant store. So you can check those out, and then once you've actually seen that, you can, well, you know, if you need the guide, you can follow the guide, the APK, you download it, and then you install it to your phone and so forth. Now, I'll show you that in a few moments. And of course, we can see then how the APK would basically be downloaded, or what it would look like on your machine when you download it on a Windows computer, for instance. And then, of course, we can then also check them out within a virtual environment. Now you also have the option to download the source code, so you can download the source code also. Of course, you know, in this case we're not going to. We're just going to go back to the order, and then we have then all of the order information there. We can add and upload app icon and so forth. There is further documentation that you can also follow there on the Convertify website. So that is quite helpful. It's straightforward as well. You can also publish push notifications, which is just $30, and of course, you know, I think you then use their platform to actually send that, which I'm not entirely sure. So again, you know, don't hold me for that, but it is definitely one that I have used in the past before. I hadn't used all the push notifications and so forth. I had just created the APK, and for myself, it is a fully functioning platform. But again, you are just creating really a window on an Android device to view your application. So you're not creating a native application entirely, but you are creating a native entry point into your application. So then it's down to you to have your platform all customized to be able to function and look right on those relevant devices. Now in Flutterflow, we can also then use Flutterflow to create our project. So within this account at the moment, we can then go ahead and check that out and start to create a whole new project. So to start a project, you can just, you know, you have some templates there that you can use, but really you just want to start off creating a new project, and you just have to then enter your project name. Once you create your first project within Flutterflow, as I have here, so I just started creating a project, I can drag and drop elements into this viewport here, and, you know, make all various changes and so forth. But now to add our online element, what we want to do is add here a web view, and if I just drag that in here, and then here I can add a width of 100% and also a height of 100%, and make sure that we have the percent there selected, and then add the 100%. And just like that, then we can add in here our application. So then like that, if I come then here to our online application, for instance, I could then paste that into here, and that would or should then display here within the web view port. Now, the Scriptcase environment is not entirely seeing what this is, so that's why it's not adjusting. But of course, when you then go ahead now to come here and download your APK, which I cannot because I do not have an account, I can then actually download that as an application. Alternatively, you do have further options here for the push notifications, mobile deployment, web publishing, and so forth. Now you can add all of your SEO in here. You can connect a custom domain and so forth. So there are other alternative ways to this web view functionality, but I'm unable to test that. So because I need to have the paid account. So if you actually download that from there, then with this option, you have one way of converting. Now, the alternative, of course, is the Convertify, which we had just gone through. And basically here, you get all the help that you need, as well as, you know, you pay once and, you know, you have your application online and it pretty much works. You do have the push notification options and everything else there. Now you do have various examples on both of these websites, Convertify as well as Flutterflow, and you can of course go ahead and check those out and choose which one of those is the best option for you and your mobile platform development. Now, Scriptcase right now does not have a APK download option, so if that's what you were hoping to see, then I'm sorry, that is not today. And well, you never know, maybe in the future, but who knows? I kind of doubt it, but you know, these are currently our options. We also have then the PWA option. So if you check YouTube for about a year ago, just search Scriptcase PWA and you will find the that previous video, and there you have a free alternative way of creating a mobile option for any type of online platform. Again, it needs to be online, it needs to have an SSL certificate, and of course, once you have those, then you should be able to create any kind of APK option or installation option for various mobile devices. And with that, I think we are pretty much done today. For more interesting content, do check out Scriptcase by Jamie. It's a new channel for myself, and there you can actually check out a lot more videos and more content on Scriptcase. And of course, I will be adding some other alternative options to these, and maybe one day I will even sign up to these myself, pay those fees, who knows, and then of course create those videos for you guys so you can check out how they are actually done entirely from begin to end with the entire process. And of course we can do some troubleshooting and spend a great deal more time on those. So before we finish up, let's just have a quick look at the APK downloaded as well as the PWA version I still have available here. And of course, this APK here, this first one that you see here, this is from CONVERTIFY. So that is the APK that is downloaded from there. And there you can see we have our online environment, and we can use that quite easily without any issues, and it's actually quite nice as well. Now of course I do have this in this format, so of course I can change this around and change the rotation of that, and then we can also see what that looks like so. Okay, so if I come up here to my home or to my applications, you can actually see that this is an application within the app and within the environment, and of course is then also installed just like any other application. And I have here still the PWA from previously, so this is the one that we created a year ago. Of course this is no longer online, but there you see that you do have a slight different interface to that from what you would from the APK. At the same time, you can publish from both of those platforms. Well, Flutterflow publishes to the platform for you, and CONVERTIFY, you need to do it yourself, and of course pay those fees, because yes, publishing to either of those stores with your application, it also costs extra money. Now the Flutterflow, as you're saying, is a monthly fee, and I think you can actually download as many APKs as you want. I'm not entirely sure, so I would check that one out and double check that before you dive on, before you jump onto that boat. So with that, you are able then to create yourself a mobile application which you can download from either CONVERTIFY or Flutterflow or the PWA option I had mentioned, and also then install your platforms on mobile environments. And as I had started to explain at the beginning of the video, it is very important for the styling. That is pretty much as easy as it goes. Everything else would be mobile adjusted within the Scriptcase environment, if that is what you are wanting to use to create a mobile application version of whatever it is you're doing. So that's it for this week. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this little video on how you can also create a native APK application, or even for iOS if that's what you want, and you can install those and download those, and of course pay the fees that these guys are wanting to convert those, or use the free PWA one from previous. Of course, all of those are here on Scriptcase. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Jamie, and until the next video.